Okay, so now that this has been out for a really long time, I just wanted to give my honest opinion on it. This is, first of all, this is the screen when you get past hell, nightmare, you get into hell. This is the screen you will be seeing constantly. Not because, like, the enemies are actually hard to kill. I mean, I can just show you. I kind of just have to kite around mostly and hope to dear fucking god their shields go down at the right time, because I can't even... this is what you will be doing past... I mean, actually halfway through Nightmare, this is what you'll be doing, probably. Unless you're ridiculously lucky and find really good items, or you're really, really good at Jewing the auction house. I think I could be, but I don't feel like fucking around in an auction house just to play Diablo. And it's literally like I haven't even shown. I've died like fuck probably 4 times with on these enemies alone, and it's probably taken me about 10 minutes so far just kiting them around and hoping that I can get a decent hit on. And I mean, it's I feel like they did not test this at all. There's really no way they did. Like there's unless their grand plan was to have people buy stuff from the auction house with real money. I don't know if that was the grand plan or anything, but I mean, look, there's nothing I could have done about that. I can't really move out of that, and they just kind of have to. And then, of course, when you die, every time you die, it takes longer and longer for you to respawn, and you end up spending all your money on repairs of armor. And as I said, you will be seeing this screen quite a lot. I mean, normal and like most of Nightmare is actually pretty fun. You'll actually be playing the game and doing things instead of this, where I'm this mighty warrior, this mighty barbarian warrior. I have to run away from a man in a robe constantly because I just can't fucking kill him. I mean, now I think I have a chance because there's not 3 of them. I mean, but like, it's normal, and half of Nightmare feels like a game. Like it's fun. It's kinda not really challenging, but it's fun. And then you get to Hell, and this is what you get. This is the game. You are looking at it right now. If you're... I at first thought it was because I was a melee class, and look, I fucking died again. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that. I thought at first it was because I'm a melee class. I heard people complaining that melee classes were really shitty later on, just because everything has stuff, like if you're near any enemies, half of the enemies have effects that make you just fucking die when you're near them. But I've been in lots and lots of groups, and the casters are also dying as much as I am. We're hardly able to do a damn thing to anything in this game, unless you find that rare guy who spent $500 on the fucking auction house, or is just really good at Jewing the auction house. But I mean, why do I have to do that? Why do I have to basically, play a stock market simulator just to play a game? I shouldn't have to do that. It's not fun. This isn't fun.
I've been healed.
I want it to be fun. I like this game a lot, but
I have been hit.
there's no endgame content other than just getting through Inferno and stuff like that, and there is no real challenge to this. What I'm doing right now, this is not a hard enemy to fight. It's just very tedious. There's even the bosses you fight. I mean, half the time there's builds you can look up that just make all the bosses a cakewalk. A lot of them are just tank and spank. Look how far away that guy was when he killed me. Did you? I don't know if you can. I mean, you can rewind and see it, but I literally I'm not even getting mad at this anymore, because it just happens so often. And it's not like, there's like a lot of games you can play where if you die, you can at least, reflect on, okay, I could have done this to not die and blah, blah, blah. there's none of that. There's no gratification, there's no learning from your mistakes, there's just blind, just this. There's kiting around and hope, and then I have to run away because he has his shield, and yeah, there we go. That is a fun effect. It just randomly makes the enemy just immune to damage. That's very fun. And I died again. Oh, and my gear is now broken. So, now I want you to see this right now. So my gear is broken from dying against this enemy multiple times where I really couldn't have avoided it. So now my choice is to go back and repair. Because I can't fight him with broken items. I have... Let me... As soon as I respawn after this ridiculous respawn timer from dying repeatedly to things I can't avoid. Any day, okay. So now, let me just show you. So he's over there. I have him nearly dead. But my items are broken. There's no way I'm gonna go fight him. And so, I teleport back. Need to go repair my items, of course. Which, half the time these enemies you're fighting, you will get enough money from fighting them to repair your armor, and that will be about it. So yeah, and then of course my health doesn't keep up with putting on my armor back on. Now I go back, you know, okay, now I can... Oh wow, this time he actually lost all his health. Last time I was fighting an enemy, and he literally gained all his fucking health back. That's new. That's very nice, Blizzard. Thank you for throwing me that bone. I just feel like there's no way they tested this at all. They probably tested through night. No, there's really. I don't think they tested this. I genuinely think that they tested normal, and then they just said, okay, just tack on lots of effects to every single boss, and scatter them fucking everywhere, and people will say that is a hard game, and I guess it's hard. It's not hard in the way that most people like games to be hard. Like, it doesn't really require you to design new tactics to fight these enemies. It just requires you to do something incredibly boring to kill them over an hour. It's just all the fun gets sapped out of it in favor of just kiting things around for a really long time. And not to mention, half the skills you have become completely fucking useless on higher difficulties. That's another thing. It looks like they just did not test at all. There are just tons and tons of skills that are completely useless. Like, the ground stomp, I guess ground stomp isn't completely useless, but, where's ground stomp? It's, you know, every 12 seconds you can stun enemies for 4 seconds, which isn't that bad. It's just on later difficulties, I guess, I don't know if they get stunned for less time or something. It just doesn't really have as big of an effect, and you can only do it every certain, you know, every 15 seconds or so, 12 seconds, whatever it was. And I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of problems. I like the game. I liked it, especially, you know, through normal and nightmare, and I was okay with it becoming more challenging, but when it gets to this, where it's not challenging, it's just really, really tedious. You have to resort to tactics that really aren't fun at all to use. You know, except for, like, you know, these are normal enemies that are actually sort of fun to fight. It's just, I guess, the bosses mostly. I'm probably going to come up to another one here and have to take a while unless it has really shitty effects. See, this resembles a pretty fun game here. This is kind of fun. I like this, you know, actually playing. But, the bosses just, God, it's like fucking Human Revolution where the bosses just ruin the entire game. I mean, it's also not to mention, like, this isn't different from normal and nightmare, what I'm doing right now with the normal enemies anyways. I mean, I know it's I'm not gonna sit on a high horse and say Diablo 2 was any different with its difficulty, but it wasn't really... Actually, no, it was fucking better. It was actually fun. Like, I had fun playing through the different difficulties in Diablo 2. I haven't played it in a really long time, so I wouldn't really be able to make the comparisons very well, but I just remember actually having fun doing it. This isn't really fun. Here it's kind of just the same shit over and over again. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it was like that in Diablo 2. I think it did require you to kind of make new tactics and think about what you were doing more. And then here's, you know, Magda, who I still wonder what they were thinking when they thought of this villain. I mean, look at her. Just look at her. What the fuck is that? Does that belong in a Diablo game? I mean, I'm all for color and stuff, but she's wearing butterflies. I don't care for, you know, super grimdark stuff all the time, but Diablo was a series that had this dark and gothic feel that is just completely gone. Completely. I mean, I guess in New Tristram it's sort of there, but it feels more like Felwood in World of Warcraft. Which is it's another thing, a lot of this shit feels like World of Warcraft, which is kind of what I was hoping it wouldn't be. But they're kind of just translating everything over from World of Warcraft to their other games, which I don't think anybody is really a fan of. And see, this boss really, like, she's kind of just... I don't even know what to call it. I mean, all you do is just hurt her for a while, she becomes invincible, summons a bunch of those guys, and you kill them. And there's one more every time. It's not really, I mean, yeah, it's not really any more challenging. You're using the same tactics as before, just making sure to not get hit by 5 of them instead of 3. Ow. It's just, I don't know what to say about it. It honestly, I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was looking at the armors you get and whatnot, and I realized every armor in this game, everything, just, it looks like it's straight out of a Korean MMO. You know, that thin metal stuff all over Korean MMO armors that just, you know, with shit jutting off all over the place, just half the armors in this game, that is what it looks like. It looks like it is straight out of a Korean MMO. That is what it looks like. And, you know, I'm not even talking about the story. The story was... Let me put it this way. This guy over here, this old Asian guy, this is the most interesting character in the entire game. The story about, you know, Tyrael fighting Diablo and shit like that, it's cliche. All of the twists. I don't know why you would have, like, twists and turns in a game you replay over and over again, because it just makes them kind of even more cringeworthy when they happen. But the twists are all incredibly obvious. There's just, you know, immediately, you know, I kind of just... At the beginning of the game, you know, when you have that a blue comet falling from the sky, I mean, it's just the color coding. That's pretty much just what Blizzard is about. Just lots and lots of color coding. And if something is bright and blue, usually, besides, of course, what's his face from Warcraft 3? What was the Eridar, or was that the race? The Lord Archimonde. Yeah, Lord Archimonde was blue, but he was evil. But most of the time in Blizzard stuff, if they're colored blue, they're good. If they're colored red, they're evil, or black, or something.
Did you meet your wife?
Yeah, already read that. But yeah, your companions and your craftsmen are actually more interesting than the story. Everything that happens in the story is easily predictable. It's not really that interesting. It's pretty much like, you know, it ends up being, okay, go kill Diablo. We could have gotten there from the beginning. I mean, what annoys me more is just it's a game, you know, you play through it multiple times and it's a dungeon crawler. You really don't care about the story. So I really think that they shouldn't have worked that hard on making, you know, like a whole story arc. In Diablo 2 it was just kind of like, so basically there are these demons, you fight them, there are these demons, you fight them, you go on. It wasn't really complicated. Most of the lore and stuff was sort of given to you via just stuff around, you know, observing the area around you, and nothing was ever fully explained. Now that they're explaining the whole origin of Sanctuary, it's just, it's really not interesting. Like, it's kind of, like, the whole thing about, you know, humans were created, apparently, from angels and demons fucking, and then humans came out of it. That's what happened. And Tyrael says, and that's why there's good and evil in humans. Which makes no sense, because clearly there is evil in angels, because there are angels that have turned to the demons and become corrupted, so clearly there's evil, and I don't know. This game also suffers from the giant shoulder pad syndrome, if you didn't notice that already. God. I mean, I'm just addressing complaints you've probably already heard from other people. Plain and simple. It's just... and I didn't even, you know, I'm not... I don't even know what to say. I was just asking, you know, I hoped for at least something more like Diablo, less like if Koreans made World of Warcraft, but not well. I don't know.
Let's go. I'll lead you to the palace.
I genuinely just, I was, you know, I was yesterday talking to someone, I was just getting so pissed off at this game. I genuinely have no idea why I'm still playing it. It's not, I'm having no fun doing this. Okay, so this is, oh, nope, okay, yeah, I don't know. Okay, and then I just have to go back in and fight the same enemies again. See, that was kind of neat. Just probably, you know, I don't know, I guess more of that. Maybe. No, I don't know. I'm still not having fun. I was having fun when I first started playing. It kind of puts up this facade that the rest of the game will be really fun, and then the rest of the game is not fun past Nightmare. Unless you have retardedly good gear. Like if you just farm like crazy or something. Or are ridiculously lucky, which a lot of people are. I mean, I don't know. I've said I don't know multiple times, but I don't know. I just don't know. That's my honest opinion of it, though. I really just... That's it.